start today's program with a conversation with Rahul Chowdhri from Stellaris Venture Partners in India. Rahul, welcome to the show.
Hi.
So Rahul, start by introducing our audience to yourself as well as to Stellaris. Tell us about the fund, tell us, what is the size of the fund, what is the focus, and let's just get to know one another.
Sure. So Stellaris is an early stage tech-focused fund. The fund is about $90 million. And, we primarily invest in seed to Series A stage. And in India, these end up being round sizes that may start from a few $100,000 to up to $3 million from our side. And the company might be raising up to $6 million. So on our own, if it's a larger round, we do it with somebody else. And we also actively back our companies that do well. So as a follow-on investor, we have the capability to go up to $8 million in a particular company.
Okay.
The fund got started. Sorry.
Pardon? Once more?
Yeah, I was just going to briefly tell about myself. I've been investing since 2007. Stellaris got started about 3 years back, and prior to that, I was in another fund called 1Mby1M Ventures. Before that, spent about 7 years in 3 different companies as a product manager. Prior to that, with BCG in India, and then before that, did my engineering and MBA. So that's who I am.
So tell us a bit about what you like to invest in from Stellaris.
So, we are an India-based fund. So our ability to invest, basically we end up investing behind teams that originate from India. Having been in venture for so long, one thing we have realized is this is a game of home runs. So anything that we invest behind better have the capability to return the whole fund if everything goes well. We all know that, in life, things don't go as per our expectations. Startups that are just getting formed, they go through a lot of navigations along their journey, and only few end up succeeding. So we need to make sure we invest behind very large outcomes. As far as companies are concerned, there are 3 broad themes that we like in this fund that we are investing behind. 2 of them are very India specific. One being, India has, for last, I would say, between 2008 and 2000, or between 2005 and 2015, saw about 100 million internet users that came online. In just last 3-4 years, we have suddenly seen that number jump from 150 to about 500 million internet users.
With Geo.
I believe due to Geo, due to handset prices coming down, and because of that, there are a lot of people who are getting online for the first time in their life. The first 100 million users were very similar to global consumers. They understood, they had access to global apps. They understood how those apps operated. We think there's a large opportunity to target the next 400 million internet users. The services that they will like will be same. The way they will be different. The way they will consume will be different. The user interface could be different. The price point could be different. So the one broad theme that we are very excited about is building businesses or backing businesses which are catering towards this next 400 million internet users.
Okay.
The second broad theme, which is on similar lines but more targeted towards SMEs in India. These are people who are like maybe a Soho kind of a SME, or maybe 5 to 10 people kind of a SME. Again, they behave similar to consumers, so they have also been using smartphones. But most of them have been using consumer apps to run their businesses. And we think time has come when they will need business solutions. And that's the second theme that we are backing. Now, interestingly, in India, people don't pay that easily for software. So most of these companies that we are backing are not going to earn money from the software. They will earn money when the merchants start seeing increase in revenue and they're ready to pay a cut of that revenue. So it's a slight twist in the revenue model, but that's the second broad segment. And the third broad segment is building global enterprise software businesses from India and sold from India. So that ties to two trends that we are seeing. One is availability of product and technology talent in India, but also ability to remotely sell software in small chunks. So price points of maybe $10,000 a year to $20,000 a year, but doing it remotely from India. So these are the three broad things that we're investing in.
So Rahul, in what you described, there's one theme that I did not hear, which I would like to actually ask you about, which is that 100 million consumers, the first 100 million consumers, that is more a mature consumer in India, right? The luxury consumer is in there. Anybody who's in the luxury segment who has a good disposable income is in that segment. That segment, people have been on the internet for a while. They have budget, and they are sophisticated consumers. And that's a large number. 100 million users is a large number. Not all necessarily, high income segment, but a large part of it is high income segment. Those are not of interest to you?
No, so what I would say is there are much larger problems to solve in the next 3 to 400 million internet days. So that doesn't mean that we not invest. Let's say we see a company which has very strong, interesting business model attacking a large problem. But a lot of those consumers are already getting addressed from existing scaled-up startups. So larger problems there are most likely already getting addressed. And hence, we see a big gap in the next 400 million internet users.
Okay.
So if you see our investment, I would say maybe 4 out of 11 that we made target those next 400 million internet users.
Okay. So let's do a few examples and give us a few examples of what you have invested in catering to that next 400 million users.
Sure. So we, and this is an investment that my partner Ritesh made. It's in a company called Vogo, VOGO. An equivalent of that company in US, you will call company like Bird and Lime, which is a scooter sharing business. Now the problem that a Bird or a Lime solves in US is very different than what Vogo is solving in India. So what Vogo is solving is a problem of last mile commute for people who today take public transportation like a bus or a three-wheeler like a tuk-tuk in India. These are people who cannot afford a taxi ride every day while going and coming from home to their office. And the next best available option is actually a bus, which is not comfortable, takes longer time. So Vogo is basically providing a proper scooter for people to travel from 3 to 7 kilometers from any point-to-point manner. And that's a segment where, and I'm going to talk in Indian rupees, if a Uber will charge you 17 rupees a kilometer, a tuk-tuk will charge you 12 rupees a kilometer. In Vogo, you can go from a point A to point B in a city at about 4 rupees a kilometer.
Okay.
And with all this, the company breaks even on the scooter if the scooter does 4 to 5 rides a day. Now, there are countries where bike taxis work. I think Indonesia, Thailand, these are all countries where bike taxis work. Now, you can argue why not do a similar model? Why do a self-driving scooter model? The interesting piece is the scooter itself might cost you an EMI of maybe $70, $80 a month. If you put a driver on top of it, suddenly the price point jumps to 17 to 5 times. So then you could recover $3,500 a month versus $350 a month versus $70 a month. So you can't afford, or you can't give that particular scooter at 4 rupees or 5 rupees a kilometer if you have to recover the driver cost. So now that's a very interesting model targeting a very different segment of users. And these are the next 300, 400 million users that are coming on.
So
that's the first category.
How do you, in this example that you just gave us, this obviously requires consumer behavior change. what indications do you have that people are willing to make that kind of consumer behavior change? And of course, there are issues around theft and so forth. How are you dealing with all that?
Yeah. So, very good question. So one, with cities becoming larger, more denser, the traffic is going up in India in a lot of larger cities. And there is, if you ever come to India, you will see the number of metro lines being laid out in all large cities in India. So people are anyways moving towards public transport, but the metro density is not same as in New York. A metro station typically will mean that if you get down at a metro station and go to your office, it could be a 3 to 7 kilometer kind of a ride. So you're still going to have, the last mile between metro and the office and metro and your home still needs to be done with some kind of transportation. And that is where BOGO is a stepping stone. So that's where the consumer behavior is already geared towards adopting BOGO. Over time, we feel that in any city, you should be able to ride a BOGO within 100 to 200 meters of wherever you are. Now, that's where, very interestingly, India-specific pieces come in. In India, there are a lot of mom-and-pop retailers. And now, BOGO already has more than 100 retailers in Bangalore who are willing to let scooters be parked in front of their shops. They will do the refueling. They also take care of the scooters. So they'll clean it up. They'll make sure nobody, steals it and things of that nature. Having said that, the company also has a very interesting IoT solution on top of these scooters. So each scooter gets fitted with an IoT box, which takes care of theft of the scooters, theft of the fuel, also gives them the ability to lock the scooter remotely, has a GPS guidance. So there are a lot of those solutions which essentially make sure that you take care of, the kind of questions that you had in mind. What if somebody just leaves it in the wrong location? What if somebody steals the scooter? So they have gyrometer. As soon as they pick up the scooter, if it goes above the ground, there's a signal that is sent to the company. If it is tilted, the signal is sent to the company. So those are the kind of tech solutions the company has pulled in to make sure you adopt to Indian conditions. Great.
Another example. This is actually fascinating because we do have a very large Indian following, as you know. So it's very interesting to hear about these trends and what's new, what's cutting edge. So I'd love to hear more about what other interesting ideas are in your portfolio.
And I just talking about the first theme, second theme, again, I can give you examples across. I'm so excited about that that I can keep on chatting, but yeah. So should I give you an example in the middle?
Yes, absolutely. Please, go ahead.
Sure. So this was the theme that I said there are these SMEs, right, in India who are using, so this is a company called Shop 101. Now this is a social commerce application. And what we have seen is in last, 5-7 years, India has seen Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, now TikTok picking up as very important or very popular social media platforms. While there is a consumer usage, a lot of micro sellers, these are individuals sitting at home, students, traders, who are also using these platforms to sell items. And what a typical micro seller will do is she will have a page on Facebook. If she's selling, let's say, ethnic dresses, she will dress it up, and then people follow her because of her dressing style. And then they'll, over time, ask if this dress is available to be sold. There's a Facebook Messenger chat. Then money gets transferred into the bank account, and then the lady will walk into a courier shop, a local courier shop, and ship the item. In our last about more than a year back, Facebook claims to have about 1.5 million such SMB pages in India alone. You look at WhatsApp, there are much more number of WhatsApp broadcast groups, again used to sell items. You look at Instagram, same thing. Now, these are not platforms designed to do e-commerce. So what Shop 101 does is it has provided end-to-end fully integrated interface for a technology platform that makes these micro sellers look like a full-fledged e-commerce business. So if you use their platform in less than 5 minutes, you can create a shop of your own, which will be fully integrated into your social media accounts. You will have all payment interfaces available. You will have multiple logistic interfaces available that you can pick and choose from. And these are all fully integrated. You don't have to get an IT consultant to, add it to your online store. Now, what that allows is this person now does not have to spend time on chat, because now if a Facebook post is made on a new item, the link of the shop comes on there. You can go there, you can order and place it. This particular person never had COD as an option available, because large courier companies will not entertain cash on delivery with individual, small businesses.
Right.
Now, because you are going through Shop 101, you have COD available. They get best rate from logistics companies. And on the back end, what they have done is one step extra. They have also gone and tied up with large manufacturers in the country and made their catalog available to these micro sellers. So based on the followers that a micro seller has, he or she picks up whichever item might get sold or will be liked within their follower base and promotes it on their shop or on their social media handle. What this has done is it has increased the procurement capability of these micro sellers. So for an end consumer, they still buying from this micro seller because this micro seller provides trust, she provides curation, she's somebody I can ask a question from, which typically in an Amazon or a Flipkart is very hard to do, and still get a full range of items that can be sold. Now, this is a classic case of tech enabling Indian SMEs. Charge for software. What they charge for each service that this micro seller takes up. So if they take up the bill payment, if they take up the logistics that Shop 101 provides, if they buy from the supplier of the Shop 101 merchant base. So there are charges for each one of them. So you pay as you go. In some sense, the more your revenue is, your revenue. Last month, they had about 40 such micro sellers who sold at least one item on their platform.
So in the case that you just described on SMB focus, and this is like very small business focused offering, you prefaced earlier by saying that the business model is not necessarily that people are paying, the SMBs are paying for the service, but you're doing revenue sharing. That doesn't apply to this particular company. This is one you are charging for the actual software.
No, so what I meant was that if you charge, let's say Shopify charges $100 a month,
right,
irrespective of what business you do, that's a software charge. Here, what you're charging is if you use, so as I may decide not to use Shop 101 shipping service. Right? I can sell on my Shop 101 website or my own website that Shop 101 creates, but I may not use, let's say I want to just use my local courier person. In that case, you don't pay anything to Shop 101. You may decide that I will not take the payment service of Shop 101, in which case you don't pay for the payment service. You may decide I want to design my own items, I will not take the supplier that Shop 101 is giving me. You don't pay for any. So you decide as a SME. And you only pay when your revenue on Shop 101 goes up. So if you sell two items, you
revenue
pay for
is kind of transaction-based fees. You take a cut on the transactions based on what services the user is using. Got it.
Right. And in some sense, sorry.
Well, I'm actually very curious because you will hear a very interesting company. Actually, I don't know if Taranjeet is on the call yet. This is a company that is getting ready to go out to raise money. This is a company that would be interested in accessing your, the Shop 101's body of influencers, of small merchants. So this could be a very interesting opportunity for a new brand that is selling a new product to also access the market, yeah?
Yeah, so actually now that's what is happening with Shop 101. There are so many new brands that are coming up. Yes. And they need distribution platforms.
Right.
So a large company like Unilever led their Series B because they feel beauty could be a very large channel, or a beauty could be a very large range that could be sold on this channel. Similarly, smaller brands are using this as an alternate distribution channel.
Great, excellent. All right. So talk to me about what is, besides these three categories that you've talked about, or aligned to these three categories that you talked about, if you look at your last 12 months or 18 months deal flow, what are you seeing? What's in the pipe in India? I imagine you see several thousand deals a year, right?
So we see maybe 1,400, 1,500 deals a year.
Yeah.
That's the deal volume we have. And they vary across sectors. So we are a sector agnostic fund. We also have a very active top-down thesis-based approach. So each one of us look at one or more sectors. And then we go out and look for companies in those sectors. And when I say sectors, typically they are vertical sectors. There are a few horizontal sectors also that we look at, but mostly it is vertical sectors. So it could be logistics, it could be retail, it could be healthcare, education, financial services. And then we look for opportunities in those sectors where technology can play an interesting role. So in that sense, this deal flow is quite diverse. I don't think there is one particular theme that we have seen more than others. There are a lot of very interesting software companies that are coming up, digital first brands, education technology companies, financial services is very hot in India for the last several years, the fintech companies.
Yes.
Healthcare, we have an investment, logistics, we have an investment. So yeah, it is really spread across various sectors, I would say.
And the fintech and edtech deal flow that you're seeing, does it align with that next 400 million consumers?
So fintech mostly. Even I would say education technology, there are a lot of companies that we're seeing who are talking about vernacular language-based content creation.
Yeah.
They're also targeting, so the first wave of edutech companies that were targeting test preparation market were basically going after exams like engineering and medical. But now we are seeing a lot of companies going after, let's say, a bank exam, which allows somebody to get employed at a bank. It's a very large exam in India, but it is what something next 200 or 400 million Indian users find very relevant. Or teaching people to speak English, but from multiple languages. So Gujarati kid trying to speak English and so on. So there are in edtech there are a lot of companies. Fintech, I would say, primarily there only. As in fintech is a lot about financial inclusion, people who could not get credit earlier, both SMEs, consumers, people wanting to and most of that behavior exists in an informal economy in India. What these fintech companies are doing are providing better quality product in a more formal manner to these consumers or to these SMEs.
So how do you envision the financial story of this 400 million, next 400 million consumers? Is it going to be in the form of some version of microfinance? What form is it going to take, and who's going to be lending? Is it your companies, these new companies that are coming up, new fintech companies, are they going to be lending out of their own pockets or the funds that they raise? Or is it going to be peer-to-peer? Or is it going to be high net worth individuals or family offices lending to these? What format do you see this taking?
So it is very hard to answer that question because it is such a large market. I think you will see multiple models emerge. What is happening today is primarily trying to just in India, such a credit hungry society that you launch a company and you will find a large segment of consumer or SMEs who have not been able to access credit. So today it is more plain vanilla about going out and getting that segment in your target base. Now obviously there are a lot of challenges. It is very easy to lend money, as we all know. The hard part is in collecting it. So there are those pieces that are not yet figured out. I would say there are companies who have failed. There are companies who are doing a good job. Also, over time, one needs to figure out why would a smaller company win over an existing large entity who has a lower cost of capital. So is your underwriting any different? Is your distribution any different? Is your loan collection process any different? Those are, I would say, still unanswered questions for a lot of models. I don't think microfinance per se or microfinance kind of model per se is going to be a dominant thing. It is still a base where banks have lowest cost of capital, so you have to somehow reach to that cost of capital. It could be typically people start like a marketplace or giving a small first loss guarantee. Over time, they try in India what is called NBFCs, which is where you can take deposits from public. So that is what you end up doing. But at least as a fund, we don't think that one model is better than another. You can actually earn a decent spread even as a marketplace, depending on which segment you're playing in.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else that you would like to discuss with this audience before we move to the entrepreneur pitches?
No, that's it. And any way in which we can be of help, let us know. But it was great being on the show, and I hope it was of use to some people at least.
Absolutely. We're going to definitely send you some people. In fact, very soon I will send you some people. All right. Nice talking to you, Rahul. Thank you for coming today.
Bye.